There are corners of medieval life that rarely make it into documentaries, even though they kept entire communities alive. One of the most overlooked groups when studying pre-modern survival is shepherds. They were among the first to feel the effects of drought because their livelihoods depended on daily access to water, often in landscapes where rivers dried up and wells failed long before anyone in the towns even noticed. Across Europe, Central Asia and North Africa, shepherding groups developed a simple but extremely effective technique for harvesting water from land that looked bone dry to outsiders. This was not ceremonial or mystical. It was practical engineering carried out with bare hands, local soil, and a very clear understanding of how the earth holds moisture. Before we even reach the heart of the technique, it's important for viewers to recognize that drought in the medieval world wasn't just an inconvenience. It meant losing animals, losing trade, and in some cases losing entire homesteads. A trick that allowed herders to pull water from dry hillsides quietly spread from region to region and survived for centuries because it worked. The method starts with the shepherd's understanding of ground temperature and natural condensation. Long before meteorology was formalized, they observed that certain pockets of land remained cooler than the surrounding area. The shaded north sides of hills, the bottoms of narrow gullies, or depressions protected by stone outcrops became natural cold traps. Even when the air felt scorching, these spots held pockets of coolness where moisture collected overnight. The shepherds took advantage of this microclimate by developing what is now known as a ground condensation water trap. It was simple in design, but, incredibly effective in practice. It required no moving parts, no tools beyond a digging stick or basic spade, and no external water source. Only the daily cycle of temperature and the moisture already present in the air and soil. The structure worked because it mimicked the principle that modern dew collectors rely on, but in a fully passive, earth-based form. Shepherds selected a shaded spot protected from direct sunrise. They dug a conical pit with a wide opening and a narrow base. At the bottom they placed a clean vessel, often a clay bowl or a tightly woven basket coated with pitch or resin to make it watertight. Above the vessel they positioned a flat stone supported on small pebbles or sticks. This stone created a cool surface on which moisture condensed during the night. As temperatures dropped, water vapour in the air clung to the chilled surface of the stone. When dawn came, the sun warmed the air faster than it warmed the stone, increasing condensation. The droplets then rolled off the stone and dripped into the waiting vessel below. Over a full night and morning cycle, the trap produced a small but reliable amount of clean water. During severe droughts, that trickle meant survival. One fascinating detail is how shepherds used the earth itself to magnify the effect. By insulating the pit with compacted soil and sometimes lining it with clay, they kept the temperature difference stable. In some regions, they even added a second layer above the stone, another flat surface elevated slightly, to increase condensation by providing multiple cooling points. These variations were passed down through families and clans, always adapted to local soil types. Sandy soils needed deeper pits. Clay soils retained coolness better and required less depth. These were not random choices, but deeply informed practices born from generations of observation. Translating this method into modern use is, well, pretty straightforward and valuable for hikers, off-grid homesteaders, preppers, and honestly anyone interested in historical survival knowledge. The first step is selecting the right location. Just as medieval shepherds did, look for a shaded spot that avoids direct morning sunlight. A north-facing slope or the base of a natural rock wall is ideal. The next step is digging a pit roughly knee-deep with sloping sides. Place a container at the lowest point. A metal pot, ceramic bowl, or really any cup will work. Then support a flat surface, like a smooth stone, ceramic tile, or metal plate above the container, leaving enough space underneath that water can drip cleanly into the vessel. The effectiveness of this trap increases dramatically when the user understands how to create and preserve temperature differences. Adding loose, dry soil around the structure helps maintain nighttime coolness. Building a small windbreak of stones or branches can also improve condensation by preventing warm air from circulating too quickly over the pit. Another historical detail worth applying is the use of local vegetation. Shepherds avoided putting leaves inside the trap because they contaminated the water, but they sometimes placed thick shrubs or small branches around the outer rim to provide additional shade without blocking airflow. That balance between protection and ventilation is key to maximizing yield. While the daily output from a single trap will not fill barrels, the amount is more than enough for drinking in survival conditions. Medieval accounts note that during multi-week droughts, shepherds maintain multiple traps scattered along their grazing routes. Modern users can take the same approach by preparing 2 or 3 in different shaded locations. Once set up, they require no fuel, no maintenance, and produce water quietly and predictably. This medieval water harvesting technique is a reminder that older societies often solved environmental challenges with precision and creativity rather than brute force. For anyone serious about historical fieldcraft or practical off-grid strategies, this method bridges the past and present in a way that is both useful and respectful of the ancestors who relied on it for their lives. For more historically grounded survival wisdom like this, make sure you subscribe to Backyard Wisdom and share this video with others who appreciate forgotten skills that still hold power today.